Hello everyone and welcome back to For the Minions, a weekly show where we talk about some of the spiritual successors to Paragon. Hopefully, they'll be able to replace Paragon. This week we're going to, of course, talk about news and updates as always. Then we're going to go into a discussion about lock-on abilities. And then we have a community suggestion. So, yeah, let's get into it. I'm your host, Mongoose. If you're wondering why I'm looking all Boondock Saints, it's because it's fucking freezing in my house right now. And I just happen to own a peacoat. Introducing, as always, my co-host from Mandy Mal Games. It's Mandy Mal herself. How you doing, Mandy?
I'm doing well, thank you. And I think you look super dashing in your peacoat.
Oh, I thank you.
So today we have a really special third guest with us today. We have Bacon from Undying Games. Bacon, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, I'm great, Mandy. Thank you so much for having me. I'm the marketing director of Ethereal, but you can call me Johnny. But I go by Bacon in all of our social medias. And again, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Oh, no worries. So, you guys might think it's a little weird that we have one of the a member of one of the development teams actually on the show hosting with us. I felt that it would be a good opportunity. You may not know, but these the developers are very civil with each other, much more civil than the fans are. Fans tend to throw a little shade at the other games whenever they pick their favorite, but the developers are always very civil. And I thought it would be fun to get one of the member of one of the development teams on the show to kind of get their perspective on things. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, so now we have Bacon, and he's going to be awesome. And Bacon, favorite Paragon hero, who was it?
Richter, baby. Richter all the way. Team Richter.
That is what I'm talking about. Everybody loves Richter. So what's a little bit of your background with Paragon? Did you play it a lot, or did you play it a little?
Yeah, so I signed up to the closed alpha, so I was basically there from the beginning, and I played Gideon a lot. Before Richter was introduced into the game, I was a Gideon main. I loved his ultimate. I just found it so overpowering and just so cool. Mm-hmm. And then once Richter was introduced into the game, I just fell in love. It was just the skill shot with his wand, with the chain. When you landed it, it was just a different feeling of satisfaction. And I just loved it. I just loved Richter, and I just kept playing Richter. Didn't stop playing Richter main till I die.
I'm always happy to see that big dick Rick love. So let's get into the news and updates, starting, of course, as always, we go alphabetically by company name. We're going to go with MetaBuff and Core. I know we said we were going to have a video for you guys this week. We still don't have that video. I'm really sorry. I'm not going to promise that we're going to have it next week because I don't want to make myself into a liar again, but we will try and have it for you next week. But they've been working on their friend request system. Opulus Prime showed that to me, and it is working. So you will be able to add people to your friends list and play with them once the alpha releases. So very exciting stuff. Very cool to hear, and really happy about that. They've also been doing some updates to their launcher. Again, Opulus Prime showed me that they've got a new version of their launcher, which means the game is launching and running, and that he is playing without me. So, pulled this dagger out of my back. Thought we were friends, man. And also, kind of a small update, but their build machine is still running well, and you can kind of tell from this little picture that I will put up that they have been doing a lot of work. That thing runs nightly and just kind of processes all the updates they've been doing to the game. So they have their systems in place. They have their shit together. And Core is going to be awesome. So what do you guys think about Core? What do you guys think about the friend system? Anything. What do you guys think?
Ladies first.
Oh, thank you. I think it's really cool. They're getting into that nitty-gritty stuff. It's like, it's the stuff that's maybe not so sexy to talk about, but it's integral, you know? It's stuff that you want working. So it's cool that they're, spending the time to get all that nitty-gritty details working.
Yeah, I think it's very important that they sort of focus on all the outside aspects of the gameplay, because smooth gameplay outside the alpha, so past the alpha, should be a necessity. People should expect to be going into the game and having a wonderful experience. The thing that sort of impresses me the most about any game is the UI, the friend system, how you interact with other clan members, for instance, if there is a clan system, rank leaderboards, etc. I find that personally much more immersive for a community member. Because once you leave the game, you're faced with the UI. You see the UI more than you actually see in game, and how you invite your friends and how it feels when you invite a person to a party is very important.
I would like to see them implement that on down the road. All these games, a clan system. Paragon didn't have one, and it would be nice to have. We kind of create our own clans via Discord anymore, but
why not have it in game?
Yeah, it's nice. It's an extra sort of element to the game that elevates its feeling, I guess you could say.
Yeah, the social aspect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it just almost makes it that much more immersive too.
Yeah, exactly. Drags the player in.
Yeah, very cool.
Because that was one of Paragon's downfall. They kind of focused on changing the map, and all they did was change the map and change the map and change the map, and everything else just kind of lacked feeling.
Yeah.
Nothing really linked in together, so I think that was a misplay by them.
True.
So, Mandy, what's been going on with Meta Studios?
Well, they started streaming again. They had taken just a little break while they were working on stuff for their big alpha launch. And they're still working on stuff. They're doing some small bug fixes. The streams are basically kind of turning into Q&A sessions for the fans, which I think Smokey just missed everybody and wanted to get back to streaming and answering all of our stupid questions.
I think you're right.
But the whole team's been streaming. I think pretty much everybody has had a stream in the last couple of days. Ace was working on some cards. I think Patrick was working on minimap and UI and stuff like that. So they're kind of back on their streaming schedule.
I think it's very impressive. Very impressive. I'm very impressed with the Meta Studios. 6 people just sort of building a game from pure passion is always just very nice to see, and they're doing a really, really good job. And we wish them all the best at Ethereal. We hope that it works out.
Yeah, I think we're all excited. People don't get that. We're all Paragon fans, and we're all excited to see this stuff coming back.
Yeah.
Predecessor, they are knocking it out of the park over there.
More power to them.
So moving on, I think it's only appropriate that Bacon himself does the updates for Ethereal.
Yeah, so as of now, we're working solely on the core aspects of the game. So we haven't been releasing too much stuff, as you may have noticed in the Discord. We got rid of Teaser Tuesday ages ago, just because it wasn't feasible in terms of, from a marketing perspective, introducing new content every week was extremely difficult to sort of maintain as a company. So as of now, we are mainly focusing on character development and making sure that each character is perfect. I actually have a list, if you don't mind, of just what goes into the character development, just to maybe educate some people. Yeah, so for every character, we start off with the lore, okay? Because the lore is basically the foundation of every character, and we want the characters are known as myths in Ethereal to feel extremely connected to each other. So you might have recalled in Paragon, there was Richter, Kalari, and maybe Wraith. They all came from the same factory, I think, or something like that. It was something along them lines. They all came from this same factory, mad scientist experimentation thing. But it was unique because the lore all intertwined, and it sort of elevated the characters' connectivity to each other, and that's what we really want in Ethereal. I want each character to feel connected to the world around them and immerse the player in the gameplay experience. So then after the lore comes the concept of 3D model art. So, just get a 3D artist and they bring the character vision to life. And it's really important because it then leads on to textures and skin for the characters. Then you have the model making, the shaders, the rigging. And then after all that stuff, we go on to the GDA, game development analysis, which basically balances the characters. It's all about the balancing stage, so how much damage they're going to do, their guardian, how much defense they're going to have. And after that, we have the program texting. So that's, all the coding. We have the graphic, sound animations, the particle effects, and then finally the rendering. So there's a lot of stages into a myth development in Ethereal. There's a lot of complex stuff that has to be, assessed, reassessed again, before we can finally produce something that's perfect. Because we want our game to be perfect. We said at the very beginning of our Discord we said that we want a perfection and quality over quantity. And that's basically one of the main reasons why we aren't producing as much stuff. We want it to be perfect rather than bombard you with stuff that isn't up to scratch, we feel. So that's why there's so much to it, a myth development in Ethereal.
And if you guys haven't seen the myths that they've been producing, holy shit! I got some. We got some new images that I'll have been rolling in the background. If you want to take a look at some of the myths for Ethereal, they're very, very cool.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful.
They're
and it's amazing
stunning.
that you guys. I mean, you guys didn't have free assets like Epic gave everybody else.
No,
you guys started
we had
ground up.
From the beginning, and that's why I want to emphasize. We had everything from the beginning. We didn't have any Paragon assets, so we had nothing to build off. So everything was from scratch, and that's sort of why it was taking so long, and why we had to keep pushing back our alpha date, because we misjudged at the start how much work it actually took to make a myth and level design and all that. But once you actually get to the key concepts of what goes into a myth, you just get blown away by how much work's needed to make it absolutely perfect, and that's what we want. So then, after, I suppose, myth design, we get onto the map, yeah? So it's sort of, we have a very unique map. It's top, mid, bottom lane, but it's vertical in the sense that the top, middle lane is beneath the top lane, and the bottom lane is below the middle lane. And our level designer, I can't give away any too much information because of NDA, but he's a very good level designer, let's put it like that. We're very impressed with what he's produced so far. And we also want to emphasize that we've had a few people saying that the map is huge. We want to sort of reassure people that it's not as big as people think. It's League of Legends, yeah?
Yes.
The time it takes to get to the fountain to the middle of the lane, it takes about 3 to 4 seconds longer in Ethereal in terms of fountain to middle of the lane. So it's not too much bigger than a League map. And there's tons of different ways to get around the map as well, be it, cannons or different movement abilities, etc.
Wow.
So we're really excited to show you what we can produce.
Did you say cannons?
Yeah, do you know in Paragon, it's like
a
when
jump
the
pad?
fountain, the jump
like
pads
jump
from
pad,
the
okay.
Paragon fountains, I suppose you can call them cannons or whatever you want to call them.
I like cannons. We should call them
Yes,
cannons.
definitely cannons.
Yeah, cannons is a cool name. That's sort of, we really want the map to feel alive. We want our environment to be interactive. We want the player to feel and have a genuine connection to the actual myth that they're playing. Because, as you know, we have Sky Slayers in the game, and they can fly, as you know. But it's a limiter, obviously, so they can't fly all the time. And we've taken everything into balancing. We've had a few people say, oh my god, Sky Slayers are going to be broken. But we have an amazing GDA team. We have a former Dota pro on the GDA team who is helping us balance the game. Now, I can't say his name for NDA reasons, but it just gives you a perspective of how prepared we are to take on this amazing challenge.
Wow, that's really cool. I find it interesting, and actually, I never really thought of it, but I like that you guys start with lore and then build,
of course,
as opposed to having a cool concept in your head and then trying to fit lore around it. I really like that.
We it's very important to us to give the character feeling. We have an amazing lore team, as you know, that writes pages and pages of lore. We read through the lore and we assess each detail and we sort of build a character off that, because the lore is the foundation. And the lore is who the character is. The lore is everything's built off, and then, as I said, it goes lower. Then it's 3D concept model art. As you know, we have some 3D artists who worked on the Marvel films. So really, really solid foundation we can work off to build these amazing characters, and that's why they're so unique and so beautiful in the end.
Yeah, it's evident. They're stunning.
Yeah, you guys aren't just building a game. You guys are building like a new world.
Yeah, exactly. We're building a whole new legacy for MOBAs. As you know, it's a 6v6. Our main map is actually called Oblivion. I'm not sure if you knew that. That's what we're calling our main map name. We are definitely going to have a ranked mode. Maybe not at the start of alpha. That's not to say that it won't be introduced along the line. We're going to have ranked leaderboards because we want people to have a competitive feel to the game, because we know for a fact that people are going to create genuine connections to each myth, and they want to sort of show off, their prowess and their amazing skill with that myth, because we want to reward people for skill in the game. I know a lot of MOBAs are sort of they're dumbing it down so that the newer player base can sort of get introduced to the game, but therefore the older player base are suffering. An example of which is Smite. If you don't know Uller, do you know the god Uller?
Yes.
He was an ADC. So
He's
about
like
a year
melee
ago, melee slash range. So about a year ago, he was probably one of the hardest gods to play in Smite. Probably one of the hardest. And people liked that. People hated that because new players found it difficult to get used to the god. But older players who spent years and years at this god, like I'm talking like 3-4 years at the god, just sort of when they nerfed Uller, so they basically dumped him down for newer players. The people who have been playing him for 3, 4, even 5 years just felt kind of betrayed, I guess, because their unique connection to the god in terms of it being a high skill based level was destroyed. Because now anybody can play the god. Anybody can pick up Uller and say, oh yeah, he's an amazing god. But back then it wasn't the same. And we don't want that in Ethereal. We want to make sure that everyone is low base skill, high base skill, medium base skill, whatever the skill level they're at. We want people to work towards their rank and make sure that they earn their rank. And we want people to earn their masteries. Me personally, I don't speak for Ethereal, but me personally, I didn't like how in Paragon you could buy your mastery. I found that very lazy, I guess. I don't understand, why would you be able to purchase 10th mastery on a hero in Paragon and maybe have that hero for 2 days? It just didn't make any sense to me. So we want to make sure that we reward players for skill in Ethereal, and that's why we feel like having a rank mode is so important.
That's going to feed a little bit into our topic for discussion for today. But before that, let's get into the poll results. Like I said last week, I'm going to be doing a weekly poll talking about the games. And so last week, Core was at 60%, Predecessor at 21%, Ethereal at 13%, Phoenix Rising at 7%. This week, it was 337 votes. Core was at 46%, Predecessor at 33%, Ethereal at 18%, and Phoenix Rising at 4%. So Predecessor and Ethereal bumping up a little bit, Core and Phoenix Rising going down a little bit, Core still on top. As I kind of expected, the big announcements from Predecessor kind of increased their numbers a little bit. That's why I'm doing these polls, so I can graph it out and see which updates affect what. I'm sure when Ethereal releases some more some gameplay footage and gets closer to the alpha, their numbers will rise just like Predecessors are right now.
Yeah, we just want to make sure everything's perfect before we release gameplay. I know there's been sort of a lot of topic of discussion. When's gameplay coming? And we want to reassure people that it's going to be amazing when it is released, but we want to make sure that everything's done, because our plan is to sort of release everything when it's perfect. So we don't want to sort of feed this over a 3-4 month period. We kind of want a month period where it's just boom, 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 boom. Here you go. UI, map design, level design.
The sleeping giant awakes.
Yeah, basically. That's it, basically. So we're looking forward to that. And right now we're just head down, focus, focus, focus.
Yeah.
Now, if you're interested in learning more about any of these games, I'll link all of their social links that I have down in the video description below. Especially their Discords are great places to get all sorts of information. Okay, so as we were talking about skillful play earlier, our topic for discussion this week is lock-on abilities. I think Paragon ran the gambit for lock-ons. I think some of their lock-on abilities were absolutely necessary and were implemented extremely well, while other lock-on abilities were fucking terrible, the worst possible way you could ever do a lock-on ability in a third-person, first-person style game. The big offenders there being Morgesh and Revenant. So, I got a little bit to say about this topic. What do Bacon, do you have anything to add to the lock-on discussion?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting concept in terms of balancing and when skill comes into play. As you know, as a Richter main, so I kind of liked hitting those, skill shot chains, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. I found it more satisfying. In terms of lock-on abilities, I do agree with you that sometimes they are a necessity. But when you look at characters like the Revenant or Morgan, I don't agree with how they were implemented. I think they were sort of too overpowered for some players to deal with. And it caused a lot of really weird situations in terms of whether or not you engage or if you disengage. Right. And it kind of forced players to make one decision because as it's a lock-on ability, in terms of Revenant, for instance, if he hits you, he can then use... Was it his 1, I think? Or was it his 3? I forget which one it was.
I call it Q and E.
Q, oh, okay.
Mandy probably calls it square and triangle.
No, I played on PC mostly.
Whichever one it was, it forced players to make a very hard decision when they go in. They're all in or all out because they can't escape if they go out because it's a lock-on ability. Like, where are they going to go? But I do think it's a very weird concept. I'll give you that. It's hard to tell whether or not they should be implemented into a MOBA or if they should be left out completely. Because you're going to get a divided player base. You're going to have some players say, "Oh my god, we need them," and then you have some players say, "We're the OG. We don't need them." So it's a very weird thing. But I'm interested to see what Mandy has to say about it.
I would probably. I don't want to sound like a broken record because I agree completely with what you guys are saying. I think probably the best way to go about it, because you're not going to be able to please everybody, is to just try to balance it out and have, some lock on and some that are like a skill shot. And then you're never going to please everybody. Like you said, you're always going to have people that are like, I don't like it. I do like it. Blah, blah, blah. So just balance. You just really got to work on that, on making sure things are implemented well before just throwing them in,
Yeah. We were thinking as well in Ethereal that we were, in terms of like lock-on abilities, because we're going to have, if you didn't know, we're going to have a play the game in Ethereal. So after each game,
nice.
It's going to be very exciting. So as I said before, it links into how people get rewarded for skill. So we're going to have, if somebody makes a really cool play, we're hoping to, have a cutscene at the end, like Overwatch, where it says play the game or whatever. We're hoping to show that to everyone. But we're kind of debating like whether or not we should include lock-on abilities and stuff like that because, it doesn't really require skill, but it's all a thought process. But I don't think Paragon did it bad at the same time, you know? Like, it's cruel to say that they messed up with it because they didn't. But as Mandy said, you're always going to get players, I suppose, who aren't as mechanically gifted as some others, who just sort of rely on it, but it's all a blur.
I'm gonna say this, and hear me out. I know a lot of people are going to, as soon as I say this, are going to get riled up. But I think it was implemented extremely well with Chimera. People are going to be like, oh no, fuck you, Chimera being able to leap on me every 3 seconds. Okay, yeah, the cooldown was a little bit off, but Ambush, I think, was an excellent example of how a lock-on ability is implemented well. Chimera was meant to be an all-in hero. He was supposed to go in and either get that kill or die. And if Ambush was not a lock-on ability, then it becomes something more like Assault the Gates from Greystone, and it gives Chimera an escape. That means he doesn't have to be all in. He could go in, deal his damage, get his stacks, and if things are going wrong, he could just leap out, juke over a ledge or something like that. But since it was a lock-on, he would have to have, another. There's no escape for him. Like, I think that was an example of the lock-on done well, as opposed to Revenant's Obliterate, which they fixed it a little bit as it went along. But when Obliterate first came out, you could literally not even know someone was behind a wall, accidentally hit your Obliterate. It would go through the wall and kill them without you ever knowing the target was there. That was just an absolute worst case scenario. And the other thing with Obliterate is, it would spread out its damage if there were other enemies present, like minions. So it was very like, it was either you did 0 with it, or you did a fucking ton with it. There was no in between. And there wasn't that much skill involved with knowing when to. It's either, are there minions around or not minions around? That's not skillful. Any dumbass can tell when Obliterate is going to do a shitload of damage, or if it's just going to kind of buckshot into minions. But yeah, that and Moragesh's Mark did way too much damage. It was, I think Mark would have been good if it was meant to simply buff Hive. So Hive dealt more damage, well, ticked longer on marked targets, which was cool. However, Mark did so much goddamn damage that nobody even fucked with Hive. They just marked the shit out of people until they were dead.
I was gonna say, I'm guilty of that, so that's why I'm staying quiet.
Exactly. And that shit went through walls and everything, and
I think it's interesting because it sort of brings up the bias of making decisions in a MOBA. Because with Chimera, it was a lock-on ability, yes, but like you're in the fight, like when you use that, like there's an element of risk involved, which is necessary for a gameplay aspect. So when you go in, you're in. Now, it linked well with his passive because you weren't completely screwed when you go in. You go in, you keep punching, you get HP, whatever, 5 or 10, as it increases. And it's all about making decisions. The problem with lock-on abilities, I mean, once you have tried to avoid this in Ethereal as well, is if you can do it from a safe perspective. And that was mainly the problem with Revenant. Like, you never really had to make any major decision. It was just sort of, hit them, okay, run away, get to a safe place, and then, fire an ability. There was no reward in that. With Chimera, it was, I jump in, okay, I have to make a decision. Do I jump in? If I jump in, can I get out? If I jump in, do I fully commit? No, because when you jump in, you're in the fight.
Yeah. And
that's mainly why I don't like lock-on abilities from a safe perspective, because it just doesn't make it interesting. It just makes gameplay boring. And we want to avoid that in the theory. We want to make sure that everything a person does is based off a decision. Right. And there's either a reward or there's a counter. And if you mess up, there's a counter, you're going to get, you might be dead or whatever. You might lose something out of it. And we want to make sure that there's a constant decision making, because it adds to gameplay element in the game. And we want to make sure that that's kept alive throughout the whole match.
And another thing, like you were saying with Riplash, with Richter, it just feels more rewarding to land a skill shot than it does to land a lock-on ability, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
And it shows to other players, too. If you were a good Richter, people were fucking impressed.
Yeah.
If you were a good Chimera, people were like, it's fucking Chimera. Like, I mean, not to say that Chimera wasn't capable of making amazing plays and, like, walking that fine edge of building up his stacks and dancing around tower shots and such, but, watching, I think, again, I'm probably going to get flamed for this, I think watching a good Richter play was infinitely more satisfying than watching a good Chimera play.
Absolutely.
I can get behind that. Yeah,
because as I said, I was a Richter main, and I don't want to toot my own trumpet, but I was pretty damn good at landing the chains. I'd be, be able to make a decision, because it all, as I said, it just leads back to decisions. If I pull this person, because you have to think as well, like, Richter was a support. Like, or he was designed to be a support. People played him in jungle, I get that, but, like, I supported this Richter. And you have to make a decision. Okay, when I pull him, is somebody ganking? Am I helping them out? If I pull him, will he kill my ADC? My ADC is low. If I pull this guy, will he kill my ADC? If I pull him, we'll be able to kill him. It's constant decision making, constant. There's a wheel going in your head saying, okay, what? Because at the end of the day, like, there's no point pulling him and nothing happens, Like, it might be a full health Murdoch and a full HP Richter. Like, if you pull him, like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, he's just going to run back to tower. He might even kill you. So it's a constant decision making.
I think that's all I've got for lock-on abilities. How about you guys?
Me, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
You good? All right. So, let's move on to the community suggestions portion of the show. The suggestion this time comes from Hooded Gaming. It was a comment on a video that I did recently where I did those announcer packs for Core. And the suggestion was having the ability to record your own announcer packs. And I kind of added on to this.
I saw that. That was funny.
I think you should be able to not only be able to record your own announcer packs, but share them with friends. I think that would be a great addition to any of these games. Of course, it would be something in the future. I would like to. I don't want them working on things like that right now. I want them working on gameplay right now. But sometime down the road, it would be really cool to just record your own voice packs and, you know, maybe trade them out with friends. Maybe somebody has a really cool one, and, you know, people can, you know, throw them up on a website, rank them, and I think that would be I think it's a really good idea. It's these simple ideas like this that I think would be simple to implement. I'm not sure, but if it is simple to implement, it would just add so much more fun to the game, I think.
I tell you what, Mongoose, I'll present the idea to my CEO.
Yes.
Later on down the line, I'll tell him that you and Mandy came up with it. I think it's a very interesting.
Oh no, Hooded Gaming. Hooded Gaming. Give credit where credit is due.
Hooded Gaming, no problem. Hooded Gaming. I think it's very cool. It sort of brings the community together more and introduces them, implements them more into the game. I think it's a very cool idea. But as you said, we're definitely we're going to focus on map design and level design before we have the announcement back. It'd be fair funny a couple of months down the line, make an announcement, guys. Map design nowhere done. Myths nowhere done. But guess what?
Guess what?
You're blown away by this.
The alpha is only people recording announcer packs that do nothing because they can't actually play the game. Well, the tower never falls, so it never says anything. That would suck.
That would suck.
Undying Games introduces Announcer Wars.
Announcer Wars. Yes.
That would be great.
Jokes aside, I think it's a really unique and cool idea.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, it also is just it's like a cool thing for the community to do together and be like, hey, look what I made, or listen to what I made in this case. But yeah, I think it's definitely a fun little idea that maybe wouldn't be that hard to throw in there after everything is like up and running. And
after everything's up and running, I think it's very possible now. The only thing is, I definitely wouldn't be able to listen to my fucking voice over and over again.
No way. Yeah, I feel the same about my own, but I would love to have.
It'd be very strange for me, but just me.
All right, I think that's it. The show is drawing to a close. Let's move on to plugs. Bacon, do you have anything other than Ethereal, of course, that you'd like to plug?
Other than Ethereal, on behalf of Ethereal, we wish Omega and Core the best. You know, we hope everything works out for them. It's awesome what they're doing, and more power to them. And we hope that the community enjoys what they produce.
Awesome. Very civil of you.
Well, that's what we're like.
Mandy, anything to plug?
No, I've been slacking a little bit on my channel, but you know, it's coming.
Lazy.
Yes, I've been lazy.
I actually have something to plug again. I've had something to plug the last two times. I'm almost at 7,000 subscribers, which is amazing. Thank you guys very much. I've never hit 7,000. I actually hit 6,999 at one point, but never broke the 7K mark. But if things keep progressing how they are, I will hit that soon. And one of the things people have often asked for is merchandise, which I always thought was a little arrogant to think that people would buy merchandise for my channel, but people have asked for it, so I went ahead and did it. I'm going to do 3 different designs. I have one done already. I wanted something like real classy, like something that you could wear to a good sit-down restaurant like Waffle House or something like that. So, introducing the I Love Fat Hookers t-shirt. A little nod to my Richter friends out there. So if this is not a joke. I've actually designed this I Love Fat Hookers t-shirt. Put a link up there. Just be prepared to answer a lot of questions if you buy one of these, and be prepared to be propositioned by obese prostitutes. But I love the shirt. I'm ordering one myself, and I will gladly wear it out in public to a nice sit-down restaurant like Waffle House.
Yeah.
I'll wear it to my niece's Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Oh God. Because it's
100%.
perfect for family functions.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go ahead and hold off for one of your other designs.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
gonna, yeah.
But that's going to be it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I think it was quite an interesting episode. Bacon, thank you so much for joining us this week. Next week, guest host is going to be Ruba. I don't know if you guys know Ruba, but he is the smartest man alive. And he's going to be doing some technical things. Maybe we can ask him about how hard it would be to implement the announcer packs in. But for now, this is the For the Minions team wishing you all a great day or evening or whatever the fuck it is for you right now. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Mango.